Aloha. Thanks so much for tuning in today. My name is Eric D. Oliver, and I'm here at my beautiful farm in sunny Hawaii. Today, I want to talk about a subject that I have been finding immense value and benefit in really examining and diving into, which is time management. This is something that I feel a lot of us overlook and also simultaneously struggle with. I'm finding this highly beneficial to really examine and dive into, and it's helping me balance out the various aspects of my life that I've been neglecting and not having the space for while maintaining highly productive with my business. How many of you have the excuse sometimes, I just don't have the time? I'm guessing probably all of you, because you're on this training right now, and myself included. There's been so many times that I've just simply not had the time for whatever it was. And a lot of times for people, that's business activities, and that can be a massive blockage in getting the results that you're after in your business. If you're not creating the space to do the business activities, you're really not going to get anywhere with it. It takes a lot of consistency, and to be consistent, it takes time blocks. 86,400. That's how many seconds we have each morning when we wake up. We each have the same amount of time, all of us. So when you think of it that way, really it's a matter of behavior management as opposed to time management. What behaviors are you investing in? This can be broken down into three main categories: results-driven behaviors, preparation-oriented behaviors, and distraction-oriented behaviors. Now, results-driven behaviors, that's anything that directly leads to attracting your ideal clients and customers, influencing them, and enrolling them. And that's like, creating value-infused content that speaks directly to your target market. That's live streams, conversations, and also training your team members, which that might not seem like that's actually resulting in your own results, but it is, because if you're training your team members and they're getting the results, that ultimately brings you results. So that's one also. Preparation behaviors, that's anything that leads to results behaviors. So that would be like researching, taking trainings, planning content, scheduling content, anything of that nature, anything that is preparing to bring you the results. And then there's distraction behaviors. This is pretty self-explanatory, yet it's a huge one. And this is where so many people really struggle, including myself at times, and I have to catch myself all the time. Distraction behaviors, a really common one: Netflix, scrolling on social media. How many times do you find yourself just, you're sat down at your desk, I have this specific task I want to do, and I'm going to do it now, and then a notification comes up and you click on it, and next thing you know, you're forgot what you're doing because you're scrolling on social media, and meanwhile time flies by, and then it's time for lunch and you're just not getting it done. Text messages are another huge one. It's like the notification comes up and it's from somebody that you know and love maybe, and it's so hard to not just click on it. Like, what's that person up to? What do they want to say? Maybe you saw like the first 3 or 4 words, or like first half of the sentence of the message, and it makes you curious. So you click on it, and the next thing you know, you're texting back and forth, and who knows where that might lead, but it's definitely not leading to the results that you sat down at your desk to accomplish. So yeah, text messages, that's a great one. Not a great one, a big one. um, Overconsumption of news media, that's a big one that I've been struggling with in recent months. Also, there's a lot of big things happening in the world these days, and it's important to kind of keep up to speed with what's happening and have some awareness around that, but not to get too wrapped into it to where you're reading every word of every news article as soon as it comes out, trying to keep up with it all. So yeah, I feel like there's a happy medium of like, find out what's going on, know what's happening, but when it comes down to it, I don't give a crap who Will Smith slapped or what other comedians and actors are saying about it. Who cares? I've got important stuff to do. So yeah, distraction-oriented behaviors. That's a big one. That's the number one time killer. When it comes down to it, that's where our time goes if we're not careful. And that's why we're not getting the results for a lot of us if we're not careful. And that's also why we don't have time for the things that we would really love to be doing that are outside of our business. So this is where I'm going to add a fourth, fifth, and sixth category to the list. Number 4, personal interests. Things that you love to do, your passions in life that have really nothing to do with your business necessarily, but are very much aligned with your purpose in life, and you love doing them and are important aspects of yourself that, if you're not careful, can sort of fall away to create the space for your business activities. And that's something that I've been really working on bringing greater alignment into in my life lately. So yeah, personal interest activities. Number 5, personal care activities. This would be like daily practice, daily exercise routine, meal preparation, making nutritious meals to make sure you're eating proper, getting adequate sleep, journaling, it could be meditation. Just tuning in with yourself and getting clear on what those activities are. And I suggest making a list of what that is for yourself. And then last but not least, category number 6, social activities. For me, this is something really important and another area of my life that I'd completely shaved off of to create the space I needed for my business activities and to really move forward with my business. And then I noticed, geez, I don't have a social life anymore. What happened? Like, I used to love going out, and like, I've tons of friends around here. It's a great community I live around, and I never see anybody or do anything fun anymore. And eventually it gets to the point where it starts affecting your happiness, which was my experience. And yeah, social activities, that's anything like, hanging out with friends, going on dates, like having time for personal life, going to events, going out to dinner, going to dances, anything fun and social. So I want you all to write down a list for each of those 6 categories of what those activities and behaviors are. And then you'll have it all out on a page in front of you, and it'll be really clear. And it'll also become very apparent how the distraction behaviors are really not that important to you. When it comes down to it, that's the category you want to be shaving off of and compromising all over the place. Definitely not your business activities, and also not your personal interests and your social life. and certainly not your personal care. So yeah, really examine that list of distractions that you've written down and think about that. Every time one of them comes up, catch yourself. What you focus on grows, develops, and expands, which is a powerful statement. And to really think about that one. Let that sit in. What you focus on grows, develops, and expands. So where do you want to put your focus? Where is your focus mostly currently? An excellent tip is to, upon waking up each morning, pay attention to what you do. What's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning? Do you go to your phone and open it up and immediately go to distraction behaviors? Start getting in text conversations, start scrolling on social media, find out what the news is. That was true for myself until I caught myself and I knocked that right out. And a great tip that I very highly recommend is, upon waking up each morning, first thing you do before anything else, go directly to a results-oriented behavior. Even if it's just one small thing, do that before anything else. This will both give you an excellent start to your day, as well as kind of like set the tone for the day of like, I'm gonna get shit done today. Preparation activities are super important. They lead to so many results, but it's really important to also put a time limit on it. If all you do is you're just sitting and learning and researching and taking one training after the next and just kind of being a professional student, that's really going to get you nowhere. Knowledge is useless without action. It's great. Learn a lot, but put a time limit on it and then implement what you're learning. Also, give yourself the grace to know that distractions, they're going to happen. It's part of life. So don't beat yourself up about it, but put a time limit on it. Cut yourself off and catch yourself, and don't let yourself just get swept away by the distractions, and don't let them interfere with your progress and your results. So yeah, just give yourself a little time block. Do the text messaging you need to do, or whatever it is. Check your friends' social media or whatever, and then get back to results. Okay, so here's a pro tip I'm going to drop on you guys. For those of you who are really serious about mastering your time management and really putting your energy and focus where your priorities are, here's an exercise for you, which is to create a productivity journal. I want you to record all of your activities, all of them, whatever it is. Write it down and put how much time you spent on it. It might seem tedious, but this is going to help you. This is going to provide you with data that you can look at the end of the week. And I want you to go back through it at the end of the week and circle all the results-driven activities and look at what percentage of time is actually spent on results-driven activities. Now, this data is going to look quite a bit different for each of us. For some of you, for probably a lot of you, you're trying to manage all the other aspects of your life and shave down so that you have more time for your business. What's been true for myself has kind of been the opposite. I've been so highly and single-pointedly focused on my business, just working insanely long hours, day in, day out, week after month. And that's great. It's highly productive. But I was not in balance or alignment with the other areas of my life that we discussed previously in this training. Yeah, and ultimately getting out of balance and alignment with yourself will lead to burnout and affect your happiness, and ultimately will affect your productivity in the long run. Yeah, if you get to a point of burnout, it's not a sustainable place to operate from, which is why it's really important to create that balance. And yeah, however that looks for each of your individual lives. What I have found, which I believe is universally true for each of us, is that distraction-oriented behaviors are the number one thing to focus on, reducing, if not pretty much eliminating to the best of your ability. This will provide you with the space that you need to do the business activities that you need to get the results that you're after. This will provide you with the space that you need to have adequate self-care, to pursue your personal interests, and have time to research and study and plan your content and do all the preparation activities as well. Ultimately, it's going to propel you forward into higher success and higher levels of result-driven activities. So I hope that you got some great value in today's training and that you feel like you have some tools at your disposal now to help you better manage your time and the various aspects of your life and bring greater balance to them, and ultimately are able to spend more time focusing on getting those results that you're after while, finding some time to enjoy life as well.